Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes with Mike. I am your host, Michael Beckford, and I want to get into a topic that's to me is kind of an open secret in the NFL, and it's not talked about a lot, but it. I say that because of the situation that happened on Sunday Night Football between the Detroit Lions versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'll get right into it in a minute.
This is 5 Minutes with Mike, our news, our voice, and our opinion. With your host, Michael Beckford. Now stop, listen, and pay attention for 5 Minutes with Mike.
All right, guys, welcome back to the episode. In today's topic, we're basically going to be talking about penalized for being a lion. The open secret the NFL does not want to talk about. So, what am I talking about? Penalized for being a lion. So, imagine a lion in the wild out there doing his thug dizzle, doing his thing, and he does what lions do. He's a chief amongst the animals in the animal kingdom, right? And he goes out, catches his food, rips it apart, does what he got to do. But then imagine if there was a poacher out there that's like, I don't like the way that lion ripped apart that dang on animal. And bam, shoots the lion on sight because they didn't like the way the lion did what lions are meant to do. And, part of what they mean to do is, hey, they have to destroy, they have to unalive on the other animals in order to survive. It's a part of nature. Like we're animalistic individuals. Like we don't see it. We're not out there, majority of us, because we're not farmers and things like that, or cattle herdsmen. The majority of us aren't out there going out and, unaliving our own stuff for food. But we know that there is a consequence for us being able to eat that hamburger at McDonald's or that good old chicken tender sandwich. It's just something had to die in order for us to live, right? Especially those that are meat eaters. Not everybody's a meat eater. Can choose to be non-meat eaters, but that's for a whole nother discussion, for a whole nother topic. The point of the matter is, when it comes down to the NFL, the National Football League, to me, I believe there's this dirty open secret. Players from the time that you're in Pee Wee League, which I was a player all the way into high school, from Pee Wees to high school, right? From the time of Pee Wee to college and NFL, you're taught to be aggressive. Like, don't stop till the whistle is blown. Super aggressive. Get at it. Get at them. Nose, mouth. No, don't, my coaches taught me, hey, listen, you ain't did your job. You ain't did your job till you made them bleed, crazy stuff, right? But it was all this mentality of that you're trained for 14, 15 years of your life or better to be super uber aggressive and do not relent until the whistle blows. Now, how many of us really think that for everyone that's a part of a sport, specifically football we're talking about, that level of aggression, that level of adrenaline, physically and mentally within you, those endorphins just gonna stop at the whistle? Come on, guys, let's be real here. Like, you're telling guys, grown ass men at this point in NFL, everyone over in the NFL normally is 20, 21 and up, okay? Average, 21 and up. You telling these grown men that, hey, ref, the guy with the zebra stripes on, he blows the whistle. Your temper should stop. Bam, on a dime. Should stop at the point that the whistle blows. You shouldn't feel anything else. There should be nothing else in regards to that. This episode of 5 Minutes with Mike is brought to you by Michael D. Beckford's newest book, HOMEBOYS. Everybody has a homeboy, or friends call his own. The best friend you kick it with at the family barbecue. The one you trust to bring around your lady without raising a red flag. A homeboy will play video games, smoke, and chill. A homeboy is a nigga you can ride or die, and the one you sleep with on the low. HOMEBOYS, available in ebook and paperback or wherever books are sold. How many people realistically think that you stop what you just felt because of a whistle? For the average audience member that plays, Madden and stuff like that, they may feel like it's very possible because I play Madden every day, and hey, as soon as the play goes and the whistle stops, the game stops, the game pauses. But unfortunately, Madden is not real life. And take it from a guy that played linebacker, that played football. The whistle don't stop what you feeling. It only makes you move towards stopping progress in the physical nature of it all. But as far as mentally, if let's say a guy got a hit behind your head, like this cornerback is saying happened with this all out brawl, right? Essentially, that ended the night of Kansas City and Detroit. Kansas City won that game, but let's say a guy like this wide receiver that goes by the name of Brian Branch, right, who swung on Juju Smith-Schuster of the Kansas City Chiefs. He said that this Kansas City Chiefs player got away with something during the game. He got away with something that he got a crackback. And listen, crackbacks is the worst feeling in the world you can get as a defensive player. And on any player for general, but defensive player, because we're the ones that normally used to get cracked doing the cracking. So for him to get this crackback on this wide receiver, which I looked at the replay of that crackback that happened. He did get cracked. He did get cracked. But his thing is, and now this play happened, right? But his thing was, hey, the ref, the guy in the zebra stripes, the zebra, he didn't call that penalty. He didn't penalize him for essentially for hitting me, for potentially hurting me in a more drastic way. It wasn't called by the ref. And so it wasn't until the end of the game that it was time to shake hands and, do the thing of, hey, yeah, good game, good job, and stuff like that, that Brian Branch came back at Juju Smith-Schuster, right? Because the whistle don't stop what you remembered. The whistle don't stop what you're still feeling. You know what I'm saying? It don't stop that, especially now you feel like, hey, man, this guy got away with something and it hurt me physically and mentally now because it got into his mindset all the way to the point that he threw a blow at Juju and then, it escalated to this bit of a mini brawl, I should say. The whistle didn't stop. The whistle couldn't stop where a player is still feeling in the moment of the entirety of the game. And here's the part why I say that this is an open secret of the NFL does not want to talk about. The NFL essentially penalizes people for their players for being lions. Okay? Imagine you going out there your whole entire life, you are taught, go, be aggressive, get it, all that stuff, everything we hear. And also, by the way, Dan Campbell is an embarrassment to me too as well. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Let me finish with the scorching of the NFL on this. The NFL is finding, at the beginning of a preseason, NFL, boy, they are bankrolling. They are bankrolling from the time of preseason. The NFL, as a collective organization, is bankrolling off of things, penalties, and all kind of nuanced things, over celebrations, spitting, this, that, whatever. NFL is making millions of dollars off of fines, of players for just being Lions, for just doing what they were aggressively taught to do every single Sunday, Monday or Thursday, right? So, I mean, just think about it. To me, it's a great open secret because now, is it warranted that there should be some sort of penalty, quote unquote, for, things that can be overly aggressive, if you will? And even that term, I say is I even hate that, because these guys are suiting and booting it up to, in some cases that they would say for the death of it, right? Suiting and booting up. And now you want these guys, like, even when you think about some of these plays where, some of the outlandish stuff that happens now with the quarterbacks, you can't land a certain this way or land that way in the quarterback. And listen, I get it. Quarterback safety and things of that nature. And these quarterbacks have generally been some of the highest paid players in the NFL. But there are some positions that are starting to catch up with that, that pay. But either way, the quarterback, right? You can't land this, can't land that way. And there's just some things that defy physics when it comes down, or the physics of finding when it comes down to the penalties that they place on defenders. I'm thinking about a game last year between Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. And there was a defender that just, laid one out on the Jaguars quarterback. Quarterback ended up getting out the game. That also caused a bit of a mini brawl too, right? But in essence, the quarterback of the Jags, he basically did a low key. He was going, and then he did a low key basically play where he was giving up. And so it's like, you're going at 20 miles per hour type deal, and this person's going this way. You're expecting at the drop of a dime to defy physics for that particular defender to just give up, as far as not being able to, to just drop down, because now he does a play where he basically I can't even remember can't think of what it's called. But essentially, I think about plays like that is like, for defenders, some of these things that they're asking for you to do, in some ways, almost just defines physics. It defines who you are as a person. And I know from the time that history tells us, individuals believe that, black people have had this superhuman strength. And so therefore they should be able to stop on a dime, be able to do this and do that. And I say that because the NFL is obviously littered in a league that is majority black, the players, right? And it behooves me that this same league is so welcoming to just $100,000 fine here, $75,000 fine there, $200,000 fine. I mean, just so welcoming to just throw fines like it ain't like it's 1999 type deal, Prince album, and while at the same time they're asking players to do the impossible. You're fining players for stuff that, anyway, like I said. Now let's get to Dan freaking Campbell.
I love Brian Branch, but what he did is inexcusable, and it's not going to be accepted here. It's not what we do. It's not what we're about. I apologize to Coach Reed and the Chiefs and and Schuster. That's not okay. We that's not what we do here, and it's not going to be okay. He knows it. Our team knows it, and so that's not what we do.
Dan Campbell, who's very, very passionate type of coach. He's very passionate for an individual. he says on to the podium, I like Brian Branch, but we ain't having that type of stuff out here. We're not gonna do that. That's not what this organization represents. Blah blah blah. And I apologize to the Kansas City coach and their staff and blah 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 for this happening. We don't have that over here. Immediately when I heard that, that gave me slave master syndrome. Now, mind you, I know for those that may hear this, they're gonna take this going out of context and use it for clickbait or use it and destroy the comments, whatever. I'm not saying that Dan Campbell is racist. I'm not saying that Dan Campbell has any of those things. I think overall, from what I've observed, Dan Campbell seems to be, right, with a big quotation marks, a players type coach. Seems to be, okay? But with this particular statement in this particular moment, he freaking dropped the ball. That's all I'm going to say. It gives me, as a black American, from what I observed and the way he framed it, if you go back to that video, the way he framed it, it was as if, oh yeah, you know what? We gonna get them boys in line. Like, listen, no, don't worry about that. Listen. My boys over here, you know what I'm saying? My boys over here, I normally make sure they right, you know what I'm saying? But we gonna get them boys in line, okay? Don't worry about it. We got it. I'm gonna get them boys in line, and they'll never, after I get them 15 lashes, they'll never do something like this ever again on national television. All right? That's what it sounded like to me. To you, it may sound like a normal press conference, a coach that's passionate, a coach that's whatever. Anyway, this was an episode of 5 Minutes with Mike. I am your host, Michael Beckford. Please like, subscribe, and comment. We got to get those likes and comments up. And subscribe, please, to these episodes. And definitely make sure to look out for others. Thank you.
Saints, turn with me to, let me find that right quick. Turn with me to page 265 in your hymn books. We're going to sing together, Go Tell It on the Mountain. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, where Jesus Christ is born. The world is crying for a hymnal to sing. We're constantly on the verge to let freedom ring. We look for a new song every chapter of the week. That song may be about a boy or girl who has no food to eat. It may be about a soldier shot in the chest or police violence during a house arrest. We watch and we pray, we sing and we shout. We clap and we dance, and then we leave out. We really think that we made a difference because the same old hymn that we've always been singing. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, where Jesus Christ is born.
We're born at a time, and we live in an era when no oppressed people will be satisfied to let the oppressor continue to oppress them without doing something about it. And as the oppressed awaken and become very eager to defend themselves, the oppressor himself is going to step up his activity. And step up activity on the part of both will produce an explosion that's just as certain as the rising of the sun on the eastern horizon in the morning.